You tuned in to the Iceman Show podcast. I am your host, the Iceman. Go to asktheiceman.com for all things Iceman. If you're on the lookout for a life coach, career coach, dating coach, hire me, the Iceman, or one of my associates for life coaching, career coaching, and dating coaching information. If you having issues, if you've gone through a divorce, if you've gone through a situation of a breakup, if you need help trying to get through that experience, if you're having trouble dating men, if you're having trouble dating women, I can help you with that. If you're in a career slump, or if you're in a business, if you want to start a business, go to asktheiceman.com. Click on the about the Iceman page, and there is of plenty of information that you can get a hold of. Also, get my first book, The Game of Life, according to the Iceman Volume 1 at asktheiceman.com. Scroll down to the Add to Cart button. Pick up a couple of copies for yourself, for your shorties, for your co-workers, for your loved ones. They need some historical game or need some game on dating. Tell them to get my first book, The Game of Life, according to the Iceman Volume 1. You can get them at asktheiceman.com, add to cart button, or you go to Amazon and pick up the book. It's waiting for you. It's waiting. Your copies are waiting on you. So go on over there to Amazon and pick up a couple if you don't buy one at asktheiceman.com. And remember, my second book, The Dating Bible, is due out end of year 2020. You digs. I want to talk to you guys real quick. Talk to my paid subscribers real quick. I want to talk to you guys about failure and the power to rebound in an era of failure, macro failure. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to you. If many of you have been affected by the COVID-19, the China virus issue. Some of you have been affected by it economically. According to latest estimates, according to the Department of Labor, over 40 million people filed for unemployment this past week. 40 million people. So we are unofficially in a depression. And I noticed the media is trying to downplay this. Now, you got CNN and you got MSNBC running these fake statistics talking about Trump. If they had the election today, if we had the Miss Hillary versus Trump in modern day 2020, Hillary Clinton would beat him. Okay, they talked that same crap during the election. CNN did, and they got called out for lying. Okay, people, let me give you some. Let me tell you what's really going on. Okay, no matter what, whether the economy is shit, come November the 3rd, 2020, Trump will be reelected. Okay? Trump will be reelected, and no matter what CNN and MSNBC lies about, Donald Trump will still be reelected, because at the end of the day, Caucasians of all socioeconomic levels, whether it be the ruling class, upper middle class, or working class or poverty class Caucasians, white supremacy is the law of the land, officially and unofficially. So at the end of the day, whether they vote on socioeconomic issues, gender issues, whatever the case may be. All that is neither here nor there. What counts is whether white supremacy and white privilege are still in place. Okay? That's it. That's the only thing that they vote on, is whether white supremacy will be the law of the land. So all this other shit, gender politics, race politics, immigration, anti-immigration, all that doesn't mean anything. What counts is whether white supremacy is the law of the land, officially and unofficially. And all the rest of this shit they talking about doesn't amount to a hill of beans. You digs? So let's just keep it gangster, and let's keep it 100, because that's what we do here on the Iceman Show podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, failure. Some people say failure is not an option. I tend to agree, but failure is not all bad, because I remember I always tell you guys I was homeless for almost 4 years. And I've had many different failures mixed in there. Some of which were at the same time. Sometimes there was a major health issue, a housing issue, and a financial issue all at once, while I was homeless. And again, for the average individual, that probably would make them quit. Like I said to people, I tell people all the time, I should have been dead a long time ago. With all the health, just with the health issues alone, I should have been out of here. You understand me? This is why you can't give up on life. Because remember, if you stay on the path that God has put you on, you ain't got to worry about failure. You got to worry about hiccups, but you ain't got to worry about failure. Maybe you do have to deal with failure. But at the same time, rebounding or a rebound is around the corner. How do you know if you don't stay on the path? If you don't get back on the path? See, failure to a certain degree, with a lot of us, failure is due to a lack of understanding and adherence, and having a hard head and not wanting to do what God put you on the earth to do. Everybody's got a mission. God didn't necessarily make you God don't, let me explain something to you. God don't make insurance salesmen or women. God don't make machine operators. That's something you choose to do because you refuse to do what God put you on earth to do. This is one of the contributing factors to hating on people. How people hate on others. This is how you end up on the hate train. And the hate train is always full. There are no seats available on the hate train. Some of you hate me. Some of you are haters of the Iceman. Why? I don't know. All I've done was trying to help your black ass. Or whatever race you happen to be. All I've tried to do is give you information you can use. What have I said or done that was hurtful to you? It shouldn't be. There shouldn't be any. The only thing I have done is tried to wake people up to what's going on out here. You digs? Whether it's dating, whether it's socioeconomics, whether it's labor, employment, I've tried to give you all I can give you. And some of you still would rather hate me, hate the messenger, instead of hating the situation you're in and be willing to change it. Now, again, failure isn't all bad. Failure is what makes me get up off my dead ass and not be lazy. Sure, sometimes I don't get the amount of work I need to get done for whatever reasons. But at the same time, I'm here to tell you that life You don't have to be a machine operator. You don't have to be a customer service rep. If that's what you choose to do, then that's on you. I guarantee God gave you at least one talent that you can make money off of. See, this is where maturity comes in. See, the reason why most people, most of us, especially black people, try to take the path of least resistance and not take any risks is because a lot of you are scared of failure. And so that makes you risk aversive. So instead of going after your God given talent, you would rather just do something that's gonna make you complain all day, every day about your situation. You know, you come to the barbecue talking shit. You come to the barbecue talking about, man, I can't stand these white folks at the job. And then they getting on my damn nerves. These Mexicans at the job trying to get me fired. I'm sick of them. And you don't have to deal with that, brother, sister. You can very easily save your loot, save your cash, and stack your chips and start your own thing. But because you are risk aversive and you would rather take the easy road, you have all these failures. Like, let's look at this instance with this pandemic we got going on around here with this China virus. Look at this thing. You got black folks are getting hit the hardest, not because of Democrats and Republicans, but because of your job situation. Look, jobs are becoming, as far as permanent, good paying jobs that pay enough money for you to have a lifestyle, not for you to just pay bills every month, pay your mortgage and your rent, more so rent. Jobs are becoming less and less of being worthy of you showing up every day on time. That's why with fast food jobs or low paying jobs or temporary jobs that don't pay anything, the people that work those jobs, they'll come to work that first day, they'll come to work Monday, they'll come to work late Tuesday, they'll call in sick Wednesday, come in work on Thursday hungover, and then Friday call in sick. And the employer, whether it's a temporary job or a low wage fast food job, you're going to come to that job with the attitude, man, I really don't care. I don't care what happens on this damn job. That's your attitude on the job. You digs? So what really ends up popping is what ends up happening is that you end up having the attitude that, hey man, this job ain't that important. Y'all need to pay this bill. I need to pay these bills. I need to help my old man pay these bills. I need to help my old lady pay these bills. But I really don't want to be bothered with getting paid this little $11 an hour or this $10 an hour, or working this temp job and they telling me if I brown nose good enough and I come in on time, I'll get a temporary job in 90 days. No, that's just for the temporary agency to make money off of you, and the employer get to string you along. Trust me, I've been there, done that. I'll be wondering if some of you need to have failure in order to teach you that that just because you fail at something doesn't mean your life is over. Doesn't mean because you become homeless, that doesn't mean your life is over. It just means that you need to come up with a way to ensure that you got money coming in every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every month. That's what you need to do, nigga. You need to find a way to improve your net worth. And that ain't, I'm telling you right now, get the job, stack your chips, put up with the garbage, put up with the sexism, put up with the racism, and stack your chips until you can do better. And overcoming failure isn't easy. I'm not trying to minimize failure. I'm not trying to sit up here and tell you that failure is something that you should just accept. That's not what I'm saying. If you can come up with a strategy, this is why I'm always talking strategy. If you can come up with a strategy to this is why a lot of Americans get caught slipping. A lot of Americans get caught slipping during these kinds of times, 2007, 2008, and today. The reason why black folks get caught slipping, or a lot of middle class and lower middle class Americans get caught slipping. The reason why a lot of us get caught slipping is because we don't know how to strategize and keep a plan in place of what if. What happens if the Iceman loses his job? What am I going to do? What am I going to do if I lose my job? You know, if you know, how am I, you know, Tony, how am I going to make my money? How am I going to how am I going to keep money coming in, keep food on the table? How am I going to keep that going if I don't have if I don't have a gig? You know what I'm saying? What am I going to do to combat this this major situation that has hit me if I'm a single person or a single man or woman, or if I'm a single parent? How is that going to help me? How am I going to rebound if I get put in this situation? The reason why you got when I look at CNN and MSNBC and all these other so-called news stations, and they're interviewing black people and they're talking to black men and women, and my heart goes out to y'all, because I see these brothers and sisters standing in these unemployment lines and standing in these food bank lines, or and based on what they're saying, you be sitting there looking at these people and hearing what they're saying, and some of these brothers and sisters, you can tell they have no clue as to what they're gonna do. That's because we have gotten, like a lot of lazy Americans, we've gotten used to these jobs. We've gotten used to being able to, we've gotten lazy. We've gotten, we can have our food delivered to us. We can order a pizza on an app. There's so many different things we can do to make our lives easier. But the problem is when the system breaks down and people start losing jobs, people can't get health care, people can't get basic, I go to the grocery store and whole sections of food, certain types of food, especially processed foods, have been sold out. Meat. In every Walmart you go to, there ain't no meat on. I don't buy my meat from Walmart anyway. You know what I'm saying? I don't buy my meat from Walmart, but Walmart, almost all their meat is GMO meat. That's why I don't buy their meat. Okay? I don't buy their meat. So we fail to strategize for times like this. And see, the type of black people that raised me, because they grew up in Jim Crow South, their mentality has always been save your money during good times and bad times. That way, when these bad times hit, while everybody else is scrambling around trying to get toilet paper, toothpaste, and basic food items, you already got that shit in your garage or in your cupboard or in your pantry. You already got that stuff online. You already got 10 bottles of water sitting on a shelf in your garage just waiting for you to use. So if you get stuck in the house and they cut the water off, you can at least drink. You can at least drink some water. Whereas everybody else is got to go over here to some parking lot and drive through and get some bottled water like them people in Flint. You understand me? So here's the deal, people. Here's the deal. Develop a strategy. Okay? Develop a strategy for when and if you lose your job, you lose your. We're talking about a contingency plan. That's mainly what I'm talking about. Your strategy should include a contingency plan. When I became homeless the first time, I had no contingency plan. Okay? Because you have to understand, you're already in a desperate situation if you have no shelter. So what is the main goal here? To get enough money to afford shelter. Because what is the number one problem with housing in America? Most Americans, 80% of Americans spend at least 60 to 80% of their income on housing. Okay? So if you're spending 60% of your income on housing, the other 40% has to pay for a car, insurance, which pay for food, got to pay for upkeep of the car, because it's just not enough to afford the car. You got to be able to afford to maintain it. You digs? So the strategy we're talking about here, the contingency plan, is what? Okay? Number one, I got to save my money for whatever situation that happens. And as a black person, you really got to be strategic. Okay? If I lose my job, what happens? Okay, I got $10,000 saved up. Save your money. Okay? The next part of your contingency plan should be what? If I lose my place, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna go live with Aunt so-and-so? Are we gonna live with Uncle so-and-so? What's your contingency plan if you lose your place to stay? And I'm mainly talking to those of you who are renting. If you're renting, you better have a contingency. No matter where you live, you better have a contingency plan. Because the contingency plans are going to keep you from sitting around whining and complaining. Instead, you're actually putting a plan in place that will help you get from point A to point B. Because why? Because see, when you have no plan, you're going to sit around being emotional. You're going to get drunk. You're going to get high. You're going to feel sorry for yourself. You're going to feel down on yourself. You possibly, if you got another adult mixed into this situation, there's a possibility that your significant other, you and your significant other, gonna be arguing. Maybe they're blaming you. Maybe you're blaming them. Y'all see where I'm going with this? That kind of stuff will destroy a relationship. You already got to find a place to stay, and you got your old lady biting your head off, accusing you of being a bum and not doing what you're supposed to do. So now she's talking shit to you, and y'all supposed to be trying to pack stuff up so you can leave that apartment. You got to find a place to stay. You ain't got time to be sitting up here arguing with this woman. Okay? So you better have, as a man, and again, I'm talking to the brothers. As a man, you need to have, some contingency plans. you need to have some contingency plans. Because not having a contingency plan is the reason why black folks are in the position they're in right now. Okay? And we've been in these situations because, mainly because of our lack of, we a lot of brothers and sisters do not believe fat meat is greasy. Okay? A lot of us like to get into, well, I don't see no problem, so there is no problem. Okay? That's a bad situation, black folks, to get into. And so what a lot of black folks do, just like we did in Tulsa massacre with Black Wall Street, we sat around and waited till the last minute, and then when it was too late to buy ammunition and to protect themselves against these white supremacists, black folks was ass out. We were ass out. And a lot of black men and women and children were murdered because we weren't ready. We weren't prepared. Black men and women, we got to be prepared. You can't, and a lot of brothers and sisters are learning the hard way that sitting around waiting on white mommy and white daddy to do stuff for us, that's why black folks are in the position they're in today with this virus. A lot of brothers and sisters are getting their asses kicked because of, not believing that this situation was going to hit them. And I think a lot of the information that was put out there with some cats talking about black folks can't get coronavirus, can't get the China virus, nigga, yes you can. And black folks was like, and you notice black folks stopped talking that shit after a while. So what I'm trying to tell black folks is this. White folks don't never hurt as much as we do on anything unless it's genetic, it's biogenetic. Okay? The reason why they keep talking about this, we gotta fight this together. They talking all this togetherness shit on CNN and MSNBC because they trying to fool black folks into believing that white folks just as trying to fool us into believing that they care about black folks when they don't. Okay? They trying to make black folks think they care about us when they don't. Here's the thing. You better have, I don't care what nobody else is doing, black folks, you better have a contingency plan. Okay? Everybody else can be out here clowning around and bullshitting and doing whatever they do. Black man, black woman, you better have a contingency plan. Okay? You better have one. And because I think hopefully this pandemic will teach black folks a lesson about sitting around not being prepared. Waiting for white mommy and white daddy to take care of you. I think black folks have seen the error of their ways, but I still think a lot of black folks are going to continue to keep, playing around and being, an infant and being a infantilized black person, adult, being an infantilized adult. A lot of black folks just ain't gonna heed the warnings that, hey man, I need to have a contingency plan. No contingency plan will have you like a lot of these black folks on CNN and MSNBC that they be interviewing, looking crazy and looking like, damn, I ain't, there is no way, I don't see a way out of this. I don't see a way out of this. See, once I start sitting down and devising a plan, a strategy to get out of being homeless, I had to take one issue at a time. I had to take the home, I had to take the housing issue first. I had to take care of that. So that's an economic issue. That's a financial issue. So what was causing me not to have housing? Paying high child support and making low wages. So I got a job. It didn't hardly pay nothing. So I had to get a second job. Then after that, I got a third job. After that, I couldn't, my body couldn't take no more. I couldn't work three jobs. I was only able to do that maybe 3 or 4 months before my body shut down. So I couldn't take care of my health. So then my health came back to haunt me on jobs. You see, y'all see where I'm going with this? I had to finally, I couldn't take care of everything at one time. I had to take things one step at a time. Okay? I had to take things one step at a time. Okay? I had to take one issue at a time. That's why by the time I started working on my health, I was in bad shape. That's why I'm having all the pain issues that I have today. It's why I have some of the other anatomical, physiological issues that I'm dealing with because of my service in Iraq. Okay? That's why sometimes when I get up during the day, the first thing I got to take care of is my health. I don't have the luxury of not taking care of something else. I got to take care of the health issue first. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So when you're looking at all of these issues, people, this is what sets the tone for what your strategic plan is going to be. If your wife lost her job because she got cancer, and that loss of income significantly hurt your household finances financial bottom line, then what contingency plan do you have in place of losing that 50% of y'all income? See, that I can't tell you how to do that. I can only tell you to do it. I can't tell you how to do it. I'm telling you to do it, because each one of us, our contingency plan is going to be different. It's going to differ person to person, even though we all black. You understand? So failure is not, it's, if you try to avoid failure, when it does happen, you'll never recover from it. You'll never recover from it because you don't have the backbone in place. See, people who want to start running out here taking care of their health because of this virus, it's too late. The time to plan for stuff like this was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You should have been taking vitamin C already. You should have been taking cod liver oil already. You should have been eating fish already. You should have been taking a multivitamin already. I'm talking to somebody that I used to mess around with back in the day, and I asked her, I said, do you have any Listerine in the house? Do you gargle? No. What kind of soap do you use to clean your body? I'm just like, do you understand there's a virus out here killing people? And your group of people are highest at risk, although they ain't going to say that on the news. They ain't going to tell these Caucasians that, no matter how many lies we tell in the media about black folks being the majority or being the face of COVID-19 deaths, the fact of the matter is, that's a lie. Black folks, the deaths from COVID, as far as black people are concerned, have only amounted to about 12 to 13%. And a lot of those deaths were from, what they ain't gonna tell you is a lot of those deaths that we was having that huge spike that we had the first 2 or 3 weeks of this virus, most of those deaths came from comorbidity, black people with comorbidities, obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer survivors. Obesity was a major one. And then black folks who were in entry level positions working in hospitals and low wage employees. Okay? Those were the black people who were mainly dying from COVID-19. Okay? No matter what they tell you, some of these black folks who were dying from COVID-19, they're in the age risk group or they're in the comorbidity risk group with certain afflictions, obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. Don't let these people, don't let the liberal media lie to you. Black folks are not the majority of the deaths from COVID-19. 80% of the deaths from COVID-19, the China virus, are Caucasians and Hispanic Caucasians. That's mainly the groups of people who are dying from COVID-19. And a lot of them are young Caucasians, under 25. Those of you who are affected by COVID-19 based on the loss of a job, that failure is a situation that you didn't bring on yourself. Okay? It's not your fault that you lost your job because of this pandemic. If your problem is economic, is financial, macro is economic, and micro is financial. When you look at this situation from a financial standpoint, financial failure standpoint, say you lose your job. Okay, if you've been saving your money, then yeah, it's bad that you lost your job. But look, you got 15 grand in the bank. I'm not saying that's an unlimited amount of money, but at least for 2 or 3 months, you can survive. You can pay your mortgage. You can pay that $1,500 a month rent for 2 or 3 months while you look for another job, or at least if nothing else, you go out here and start a business. You can take some of that money and start a business. I get so many people who email me at THA, the Iceman at the Iceman Show at yahoo.com. I get a bunch of people emailing me talking about, Ice, I want to start a business after this COVID-19 shit done popped off. And I tell them, I say, look, you're doing some knee-jerk, you're having a knee-jerk response. That's not good, because you're only doing it because you're scared that you might lose your job, or you've already lost your job. The time to be, see, this is why you ease in. This is why if you have a job, you can ease into starting a business, because you can start your business as a side hustle first until you can get your dollars up. The problem with us is we wait till the calamity has happened, then we want to go out there and say, oh, Ice, I need to start a business. And those are usually people who ain't serious, because I never hear from those people again, because and I'll email them 6 months later and say, hey man, you emailed me 6 months ago asking about starting a business and getting a business plan, but yet 6 months done went by and I ain't heard from you. So if I had to be the one to reach out to you, then that means you ain't about to do shit. You just up here bullshitting. Then they'll get an email back from this guy talking about, oh man, something happened. Oh, my car broke down. Oh, this happened. All of a sudden, starting a business ain't that important in it, because it really wasn't important before. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. A knee-jerk reaction isn't a plan. You see? When you're planning as you go along, you gather more information, more intel, and you're able to sit down and have a sensible conversation with your significant other or with yourself. And you can make sensible decisions because you're constantly putting money away. You're taking $30 out of your check. You're putting it in the bank. You ain't touching it every paycheck, every week. Or you're putting more than that away. You're going to have to do that anyway. Even if because most jobs, your benefit, your 401k ain't shit. The only money that gets put in your 401k is the money you put in there. Most companies won't even put no money in there. So in essence, you're investing your own money. You're just using their 401k setup. That's the only thing you're using. And if you get quit, or you either quit or you get terminated, guess what? The amount of money that if you have a plan where the company is matching funds, guess what? You don't get the money that the company put in there. That money goes back to them. And you're still left with the only money left in your 401k is the money you put in there. So that's why I keep telling people, look, I worked during the golden era of working, the 80s and the early 90s. Okay? See, back in the 80s, if you got a job, full-time job, it was understood. Full medical benefits, company paid for that. Full, partial dental, vision was paid for. Families was covered. The whole family was covered under the medical benefits of the corporation. As we move toward the 90s and the 2000s, companies start divesting. They was like, nah, we ain't. Fuck your pension. If you want a pension, you pay for it. Okay? You want an IRA account, you pay for it. Then the medical benefits start going the way of the dinosaur. They start cutting medical benefits. When back in the day, when people just used to get Blue Cross Blue Shield, or whatever they call it in your state, next thing you know, they start cutting that. Used to be Blue Cross Blue Shield covered every goddamn thing. Now they like, well, we don't cover this, we don't cover that. So now the employee has to pay more and more money into the plan. When companies start pulling this kind of shit, people, they've been pulling this shit for the past 20 years. Mainly the last 22, 23 years, people. It's almost not even worth showing up to a job today. If you make less than $40,000 a year, it ain't even worth you showing up. It's not even worth you showing up anymore. They're not paying. That you got to pay almost all your dental, vision, and health benefits. You're paying the majority of that. If you want a pension, you got to pay into that. And even on public sector jobs, they're pulling that same thing with government jobs. Okay? So the only thing to do in the future is to teach our children and grandchildren, look, you go out here and start your own business. Fuck this working for GM shit. You see how they did me? Why would you want to work there? Because I don't have to take no risk, Dad. I don't have to take no risk, and I can go to the plant and have them take care of me. Those days are over with, black folks. I've been singing this song for 10 years. If you're looking for that good job that had where you paid for all your medical needs, all your mental health needs, all your dental, all your teeth, all that they put money in your 401k plan, all of those days are over with. The company barely wants to give you a paycheck once a month, every 2 weeks, or every week. They barely want to do that, people. I know people who have been on the same job for 10 years and have never gotten a raise. Man, when's the last time you got a raise? Shh. Man, they've had a merit raise freeze at my company for 5 years. I'm like, what? Meanwhile, his boss, the boss over that boss, the vice president, and the CEO have constantly been getting raises. And we ain't talking about 5 cent raises. We ain't talking about 25 cent raises. Man, that's an insult for somebody to offer me $1 raise. That's an insult. That's an insult. But this is what we've come to over the past 25 years because people have been paying attention to diversions. Okay? See, social media is a diversion, but it's also a way to surveil people. Okay? That's all technology was created for, was to be able to monitor Americans around the country and around the world with their smartphones and their computer devices without the government, the NSA, and everybody else having to lift too much of a finger to do so. Hell, if the police are monitoring you, the first thing they're gonna do is hack into your internet, hack into all your computer devices. They don't have to do a damn thing. All they gotta do is, they can monitor you from a PC at the police station, or the FBI office, or DEA, or ATF. They ain't got to do nothing. They ain't got to ride down the street and watch you. Sure, they might put a couple agents on you if you're violent, or there's a whole bunch of other people involved. Then they may bring in other state, federal, and city and county municipal law enforcement officials. But for the most part, they can monitor everything you do. That's how you think they be getting these fools that be having these monsters that be having child pornography on their computers. How you think they be catching these fools? Sometimes they do tell on them. So sometimes somebody in the family tells on, hey man, I see some kids, some grown ass men having images of grown ass men having sex with toddlers on my uncle's computer. Sure, some people get busted that way. Most people get busted just, some kind of red flag pops up on somebody at the police station's computer, or somebody, something. Maybe they investigated you for one thing and found out you selling kiddie porn. You see what I'm saying? So you can never trust these people. Now, and I'm not going to get into invasions of privacy. That's not what this lecture is about. But I'm just giving you the examples of the kinds of situations that are out here. The reason that people think I'm rich. People think, oh, Iceman, you a millionaire. I ain't no damn millionaire. I ain't even a half millionaire. I just don't spend money. That's the only difference. It ain't how much you make, it's how you spend it. You got some illegal immigrants sitting over here with 10 grand under his bed. Well, how could somebody save up that kind of money working, under the table and working $8, $9, $10 an hour jobs? That's easy. When you got 50 adults living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and you got a guy that's sharing a house with all these other immigrants, and he might only have to pay a certain amount of money for rent. All he has is a mat on the floor that he's sleeping on the floor. 10 or 15 people using one bathroom in the damn house. That's why if I ever become a landlord again, I'm probably not going to rent to immigrants, to illegal immigrants. I would never rent to nobody that's not a citizen, or at least a resident alien of this country. If you ain't got no paperwork, you ain't renting from me, because you can tear up my property and run out the country, which is what most of them do. They'll run their ass down there to Mexico. All of a sudden, living in Mexico ain't that bad. Okay? All of a sudden, living in Mexico ain't that bad when they done screwed up over here and the law is searching for them. All of a sudden, living in TJ is the business. You dig? But failure is not all bad, people. Failure is not all bad. People think that failure is all bad. It's not. It's not all bad. But it will be for you if you don't pay attention to what's going on. A lot of y'all ain't paying attention. A lot of y'all are just waiting for your for your failure opportunity, for your situation to come up, and you end up fucked up in the game, and then you'll be out here whining, talking about, damn, I should have listened to the Iceman 3 years ago when he told me to start putting money aside. See, black folks that living like a roach and having that infantilized adult mentality, thinking you a grown ass adult, but you think like a child. You got to get off that shit of white daddy and white mommy taking care of you. Them days over when them Republicans get in the office, because when they get in, they cutting all social programs. And let me tell you something. If you want to believe what they say on CNN and MSNBC, Trump's numbers are Trump's days are numbered in the White House, you better stop listening to that foolish shit. The reason why CNN and MSNBC is putting on this full court press that Biden can beat Trump is because they know that based on surveys, early premature surveys, it basically it looks like not even 60% of black folks are even going to vote in this election. A lot of black folks are saying, like we hope they would, hey man, I ain't voting for Biden just because he's the only choice in town. Now look at this situation with Biden talking about if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. See, for this arrogant white supremacist, suspected white supremacist to say something like that, he's saying something like that because in his mind, that's that old black folks ain't got nowhere else to go but to the Democratic Party. He had all these Sambos and all these coons calling in, these scared Negroes calling in talking about, well, I didn't like the fact that Biden said that, but I'm still gonna vote for him. You know what? You're a moron if you do that. You're a moron if you vote for Biden because there ain't nobody else to vote for. Okay? It's called sitting your ass at home and not voting because no matter what, you're gonna get fucked anyway. There's no matter what, black man and black woman in America, you're screwed. Whether there's a Democrat in office or a Republican, it don't matter. They're just two sides to the same coin. Okay? All Democrats do when they get in office, all Democrats do is pump billions of dollars into feminist programs and social programs. That's it. That's all and then they still allow corporate America and they allow corporate America to screw you over. Okay? The reason why now those jobs being sent over to China to make China rich and build their economy, those manufacturing jobs. Remember 8 years ago they were telling you America as a country don't need no manufacturing job. And now that all the 40-60% of our manufacturing jobs are overseas and those products are sent back over here to America to be sold either by private consumers or business consumers. Now that the country's been shut down for 2 or 3 months and slowly being reopened and 40 million people are out of work, all of a sudden now people realize that all this outsourcing that corporate America has been doing all this time, now we see who the real culprit is. Now we see who's the real devil. It's the corporations run by these liberals. They are the ones that have been moving these corporations overseas so they don't have to pay Americans 16, 17, and $18 an hour on the job. That's what this is about. That's why they hate Trump. That's why CNN and MSNBC and CBS and all these other left-leaning news networks all of them lean toward shitting on Trump, because they realize no matter what, people are going. Trump's base, they haven't wavered even during this pandemic. That's why when you notice what did Trump say? He said, what did he say when people in the media was trying to get him to start talking shit about his base, bringing guns to these state capitals and threatening governors and all that stuff? What did Trump say? Trump was like, hey, they want the country open. They want I'm paraphrasing. They want the country back open. Ain't that what he said? And I'm paraphrasing. He said, hey, they want their country open back up. Basically what he was saying states' rights, which is the basis, there's the policy basis for the Republican Party, is strong state governments, weak central government. Ain't that the Republican? Ain't that part of most of their ideology? So how is Trump out of pocket? Bush was the same way. Let the states decide. He sat there on his ass during Hurricane Katrina. He sat on his ass and waited for the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana to take care of that situation. You saw the state of Louisiana sat on their hands and didn't do shit. And everybody did what? They blamed Bush. And under the Republicans, strong states' rights, weak central federal government. So Trump wasn't doing anything hasn't done anything out of the ordinary. He's saying, hey, you states, you take care of it. You want to get out of this mess? You take care of it. I don't blame him. These states are sitting on billions of dollars. If you got millions and billions of dollars to lock up black men and women over the most frivolous of the crimes, if not for crimes they did not commit, then you got enough money to buy your own personal protection equipment. You understand me? If the state of New York it has so much money to lock black men in Rikers Island and Attica and all the other prisons all around New York State, if they got the money to lock up all them black men and not come up with vocational programs so these black men can learn skills so they don't have to steal and rob and sell dope, then I don't feel sorry for you. And I don't blame him for letting the states handle their own problem. So black folks, stop getting caught up in Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat. Democrats' ideology is strong central federal government, weak state governments. Okay? I'm telling you what time it is. Okay? Telling you what time it is. You want to know what time it is? I'm telling you what time it is. Okay? Because most of you guys want to sit here and believe this shit you see on TV. Okay? And I'm telling you, based on research and based on facts, that neither one of the ideologies of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party suits black men and women. Neither one of them are going to give you anything without force on your part. Black folks, if you want reparations, you want them to cut that check, you got to make them do it. They ain't going to do it. See, these civil rights leaders and these other old bootlicks like Roland Martin, they want you to sit up there and wait on the kindness of the white supremacist heart in order for them to do what they're supposed to do. Hell, nigga, what we gonna do? Wait another 50 years? We don't have another 50 years. They say by 2050, the net worth of the average black family is gonna be zero, which means far before 2050, they're gonna be herding black folks into concentration camps. We already in concentration camps called the hood. If you don't think that the hood is a concentration camp, you're a fool. Okay? Remember, these Nazis that run your country, all of them, remember the Nazi ideology started in America, not in Nazi Germany. Hitler got a lot of his information on Nazism from American Nazis. There was a major Nazi movement in America from the late 20s all the way through to the 30s. Study that shit. Don't let these white Democrats fool you into believing that the Republicans are the only racists in this country and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton ain't. Don't let them fool you with that shit. So a lot of black men, especially young black men and women under 40, they like, man, we ain't voting for Biden. Fuck you. And with all you hear all the bootlicks and the scared civil rights generation baby booming niggas call in talking about my nephews and nieces. They talking about they ain't gonna vote. They ain't like us. I'm in my late 60s. I'm trying to tell them to go vote, and they talking about they don't want to vote. Yeah, because ain't nothing to vote for. Black folks' self-reliance is the only way we going to survive. If you want to sit up here and think you're going to survive on a job long term, if you think these social programs are going to carry you on in, you's a fool. You're going to end up on the streets homeless like more and more black men and women. Look at California. 80% of the homeless people are black people, and they were black folks that had jobs and had a place to stay. And this China virus situation is the racial discrimination in housing in the Los Angeles area is getting even worse because of this situation. And with them building all these stadiums and arenas around LA, they're building light rails right through the hood, right where we used to street race, right through the areas where major thoroughfare where black folks used to hang out and the culture of Los Angeles, we used to enjoy that culture. They done got rid of all that shit. Now they putting light rail all through there. They don't do that shit to white neighborhoods. When they built freeways out there in LA, they built the freeway right through black neighborhoods. Y'all better pay attention to shit. They're constantly moving black folks out of these areas that used to be black enclaves. South Side Chicago, West Side Chicago is being gentrified. Black folks are moving out of Chicago and moving up to the Twin Cities, thinking they gonna come up there and fool somebody with that nigga shit. And they move up there, and you know what them honkies do in Ramsey County and Hennepin County, in St. Paul and in Minneapolis? They lock them niggas up. 90%, 80 and 90% of the inmate population in the state of Minnesota is black, and yet black folks ain't even 1% of the population in the whole state. Do y'all get, look, man, even if you're a hardworking black man or woman who's never committed crime, you lose your job And there ain't no, see, it used to be back in the 80s and 90s when we lost jobs, there was always 5 jobs around the corner to get. Might not have been exactly what you wanted to do, but it was a job. You at least knew you were going to be able to pay your rent and have a place to stay. You weren't going to have much else, but you was at least going to have that. Now look at the situation. Did y'all know that housing has become a major issue around this whole country, even in rural areas like where I live? Because the same developers who jack up the price of houses and jack up the prices of rent are the same developers who are coming to small towns like where I live and buying up all this form of farmland and building apartments and houses and townhomes in areas where where 20 years ago there was nothing out there. They not playing, dog. They gentrifying the whole country. And black people are becoming more and more displaced. And when we have situations like this China virus, it makes it worse. So I'm pleading with y'all black folks. Look, failure may or may not be an option, but how you respond to it is going to determine whether or not you're going to be successful or continue to be a failure. You don't have to be a lifelong failure, black man. I don't give a fuck how many failures, how many felonies, and how many misdemeanors you got on your record. That's not going to determine what most of the 90% of the rappers out here got felonies on their records. And look at these brothers. They done found a way to get their lives together. That could be you, but maybe in another industry. You too old to be a rapper. If you ain't made it by 30, nigga, do something else. Niggas want to be rappers because you think it's easy. Ain't nothing easy about rapping. Just like singing, 90% of the people out here can't sing. But see, back in the day, if you couldn't sing, niggas knew better not to sing in front of the homies. See, I didn't care because I knew I could sing. Okay? So black people, listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you this. Failure is not permanent. Failure is temporary. And if you keep your mindset that failure is temporary, you're going to be all right, player. You'll be all right. You'll be like, man, Iceman said situations like this going to come up. But it's how you respond is what makes the difference. When we get through this pandemic, we'll probably never be able to totally recover from this China virus because we don't know shit about this virus. People are still trying to find these motherfuckers have been playing around, putting all these different viruses together, and now they done come up with a virus they don't even understand. I'm telling y'all, Caucasian, the survival of the Caucasian population is at risk because of this China virus. And they trying to have a diversion by saying, oh, it's black and brown people getting it. No, stop lying. 80% of the COVID-19 deaths in this country, as far in this country, 80% of them are Caucasians and Hispanic Caucasians. Black folks only make up about maybe 12% of that. Okay? Asians have been getting hit hard too with COVID-19 deaths. That's another thing they ain't been telling you. Now, worldwide, COVID-19 is wreaking havoc on Europe and will continue to hit. And far as traveling, you know, all you international tricks out there, all you international tricks to keep running your ass down to Rio, driving up the price of pussy down there in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Colombia. See, you little moronic niggas, you little video villain niggas, you no rap having niggas, Y'all, you see now, you see you niggas are frustrated because you can't take your little bullshit ass check and run your ass over there to Medellin and give Maria $200 for that dirty ass pussy. Okay? So you can't do that. Can't do that. So now all the tricks are sitting around mad because wherever they at in the world, they ain't giving your little weak beta male ass no play. So now all the tricks are all the international tricks are all on Facebook whining and complaining, talking about they can't go nowhere. Okay? See, that's why when you have situations like this COVID-19 and people get locked down and you can't travel to certain, but plus you got big airlines like United and American and Delta cutting flights to some of these destinations. Some of these smaller airports in America, as well as some of these airports around the world, they cutting service to those places. So now instead of it costing, round trip $1,300 to fly to Rio from Houston, from George Bush, now it's gonna cost, $2,500 or more to fly down there and trick your money off on them women. Okay? So that's why I keep telling guys, learn how to conquer women in your area first before you branch out and try to talk to women in other states, in other races, other area, even other regions of the country. You don't know what you're doing. Because one thing, white supremacy is the law of the whole 50 states in America. But there's different cultures in different regions of the country. How you talk to women in New York City ain't the way you're going to be able to get women down there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And vice versa. So if you try to bypass your own country to go fly over to somebody else's country and create a trick prostitute situation, you ain't no man. Nigga, you ain't no man. If you gotta go pay somebody for sex, you ain't no man. You ain't got no skills. You got bad social skills or you have no social skills. That's why I say when women who do exclusively do online dating, the over 35 I hit the wall crowd. This is why these women struggle so much with dating, because they depend 100% on online dating, because physically they are nothing to look at. If you got a website that got mostly 4s and 5s, the only men who are going to stick around are broke men and poor men. That's why you do have these sausage fests on some of these dating websites. Plenty of Fish back in the day, due to my research. Plenty of Fish used to have way more women than there were men on there. Now it's depending on what region of the country you in, it may be more men on there in your region than there are women. Now in the South, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, you got more women on these dating websites because there's more women in those areas. See, women in the part of the Midwest that I'm in, women, they get out of these areas and they move to areas where there are more men. Whenever, like up there in Minneapolis, you go up there to the Twin Cities. I used to talk to these young women at these bars. I'd be like, how you doing? Where you from? Oh, we're from Houston. I'm like, why you move up here? Oh, we're all nurses and we work for the Mayo Clinic. I said, oh, that's how they got y'all asses up here. And see what they do, because of these areas like the Twin Cities where you got an older white population dying off, they got to find a way to bring those young families in there. Because you gotta understand, these city planners, They play chess, not checkers. They looking 20, 30 years down the road. If all these old white people die, who's going to replace them? Who's going to be the next generation white supremacists who going to pick up the baton and keep white supremacy going? That's why the media always has to keep subliminally and overtly practicing white supremacy and with propaganda. Because if they told the truth and really told people what was going on, most of these Caucasians would kill themselves. Most of these Caucasians would stab themselves in the neck with a pencil if they knew mostly nothing but Caucasians were dying from this virus, or that the fact that the Caucasian race is dying off. In Europe, they're dying off, and in America, they're dying off. All these little white enclaves up in like the Dakotas, Wyoming, place like that. These people are these little states are losing. These white women are not having children. They're not having children the way black women are having children, or Hispanic women are having children. So the way they see it, until they can totally assimilate the white Hispanic, which will never happen the same way it happened with the Italians, and they're from the same bloodline. It's never going to change. If they told white folks actually what was going on out here as far as racial populations are concerned, white folks, that's why a lot of these white folks be getting mad. They trying to attack black folks. You see all these physical attacks. That's out of desperation. I see more and more people that look like the Iceman moving in my community, and I don't like it. And even if some of these families are zebra marriages where the woman is white and the husband's black, I still don't want that over here, because that still represents, based on the one drop rule, that means that is technically still a black family if there's a black parent over there having babies with a non-black parent. Y'all see where I'm going with this? This is, again, all of this is tied together. As a black person living in the black diaspora, you need to look further at what's going on out here, and you need to prepare for what if. And if you're not doing that, the very next time, you may not make it out of this pandemic. Financially, you may not make it out of this pandemic, people. If you continue to depend on your job, the company you work for, if putting your faith in corporate America and putting your faith in your white politicians is the worst thing. That's one of the reasons why most of you guys are going to lose everything. Before we get a total handle on this pandemic, you're going to lose everything, because you refuse to plan. You refuse to be strategic in time of war. And that's going to be your downfall. If you haven't done it, make sure you do it. Go over to the Mad Voodoo Man channel on YouTube and subscribe. Then hit the bell. If you want my first book, The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1, go to asktheiceman.com, scroll down to the Add to Cart button, and purchase, purchase not one, purchase 2 or 3, and just give them to your shorties, and have, or your co-workers or your loved ones, and have them get gamed up during this pandemic. If they at home, they might as well get educated. So if you know they ain't gonna buy it, go buy asktheiceman.com. Buy 3 or 4 copies of my first book, The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1. If not, go to amazon.com and buy my books. Okay? There's no excuse not to get educated, black folks. You can go to our libraries might still be closed in your area, uh, but you can always buy a book, and my book's only $10. So there's no excuse for you to not have one. You dig? Tell a friend, co-worker, loved one about the Iceman Show podcast. Tell them to go and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Tell them to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @the_Iceman_Show. Hey guys, if you're not following me on Twitter and Instagram, something's wrong. My Instagram handle is @the_Iceman_Show. Go follow me. It doesn't cost you anything to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both platforms have the same username, @the_Iceman_Show. If you need to be coached on career, you need career coaching, life coaching, or you need dating coach. You need a dating coach. Hire me, the Iceman, or one of my associates. If I can't do it, I'll hook you up with another professional who can help you. Go to asktheiceman.com and sign up for a session today. Okay, don't suffer in silence, black folks. I know a lot of folks want to suffer in silence. Sometimes an email exchange doesn't answer all your questions. Sometimes you're going to have to spend some money and get some good information and some good game. Don't be cheap. Don't suffer in silence. You digs? Go to asktheiceman.com for information. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Iceman_Show. This concludes another episode of the Iceman Show podcast. I want to thank all of my paid subscribers for their patronage. I want to thank all my donors for your donations. Your donations are much appreciated. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to wait till the live streams to donate. Go to asktheiceman.com, scroll down to the donate button, and sign up for a weekly or monthly or yearly donation, reoccurring donation schedule. That way you know exactly how much is coming out. If you only want $5 a week to come out, do that. If you only want $50 a month to come out, do that. Okay? You can also, for exclusive information, exclusive videos and lectures, sign up for paid subscription at asktheiceman.com. Scroll down to the button that corresponds for paying for a monthly paid subscription and sign up from right there. Well, remember, all of your donations, whether it's you signing up for date coaching or life coaching or whatever, it's a donation. And therefore, it's subject to a 100% tax deduction on your 2020 taxes for 2021. So you get a double benefit. Plus, you're getting help. Matter of fact, in some instances, you're getting a triple benefit. It's a donation, you're getting life or dating or career coaching, and then also you're getting a tax write-off so you can get a bigger refund in 2021 on your 2020 taxes. So that's a triple benefit. Can you dig it? Go to asktheiceman.com for information. You digs? Remember, we have a life coaching, I'm all screwed up here. We have another episode of the Iceman Show podcast popping off on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So check us out. And I haven't set a topic yet, but you know it's going to be good. It's going to be funny. Can you dig it? So go to asktheiceman.com or better yet, sign up on Twitter and Instagram @the_Iceman_Show to get up-to-date information on live streams. But be here 6 p.m. Central Time this coming Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Don't meet me here, beat me here. You understand me? Make sure you're in the place. And when you do subscribe at the Mad Voodoo Man channel on YouTube, make sure after you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That way you get email notifications that I'm online, okay? And that the broadcast has started. You understand me? Again, 6 p.m. Central Time, Mad Voodoo Man channel, YouTube, the Iceman Show podcast. Don't meet me here, beat me here. Holler at your boy.